So this is a tour of Garland Masonic Lodge number 441 open house. We have been a lot of times talked about as being a secret society and whatnot, but this is an open house. This is an opportunity to learn what makes a lodge a lodge. And so we have our lodge room here set up in a way that we can teach information about what these different stations and the different symbols mean. And we're going to go walk through this and kind of tell you a little bit about this. So this is a typical lodge room. Every lodge room you walk into for Blue Lodge, which is the Master Mason's Lodge, will look just like this. It has an orientation of east, which is the direction I'm pointing, to west, and another officer station in the south. Now, why is that? Because this lodge room is based upon the orientation of King Solomon's Temple, which was also a map or a templated off of the tabernacle that Moses built in the desert after he had left Egypt. So the idea here is that the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. And why is there a thing in the south? Because King Solomon's Temple had a gate in the east, a gate in the west, and a gate in the south. Why was there no gate in the north? Because King Solomon's Temple was situated so far north of the meridian that at the sun's maximum height, there was not enough angle of the sun to cast light on the northern side of the temple. So it was considered kind of a place of darkness, not as in darkness evil, but a place of no light. And so the gates were built in a fashion that represented light. And so let's kind of start and walk our way around the room here. These two stations here, we have, this one here is for the tiler. And I'll show these. You can pause this and read those if you wish, but this, I'll explain what this is. The tiler guards the outer door, and he is the only person allowed to carry an implement of offensive nature, and that's because he guards against the approach of cowens and eavesdroppers. The deacons, this would be the junior deacon spot. The deacons are appointed so that they vet anyone who comes into the lodge room for a closed door meeting to conduct our business. This is the senior warden station. Where is it? It's in the west. The senior warden also gets a gavel and a column. That's what these mean. Master of Ceremonies is here to basically to set up and prepare candidates and whatnot for entry into the lodge room for initiation. Almost forgot. This is the junior deacon's rod. So let me move this and I'll show you what it is. It has a symbol of a crescent moon on it with the square and compass there as well. So I'll give you another shot at that. You can pause that and read that. And that takes care of, I think, everything in the west. Let's move over here to the senior deacon's spot. This is the senior deacon's chair. This is my particular chair. And the senior deacon also has a rod. And if you notice, the junior deacon had a crescent moon. The senior deacon has a sun. The two great lights of our sky would be the sun and the moon. Let's work our way around to some of the other minor stations. This is the treasurer's place. He's responsible for managing the finances of the lodge and reports back to the lodge during our business meetings. It's our closed door meetings. The chaplain's place is responsible for opening and closing the lodge with prayer. He's the main prayer maker, if that's what you want to call him. Now, here's some interesting tidbits. In all meetings that we open, we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I'm very proud about that. And here's another really interesting tidbit. This is a ballot box. This has white marbles and black marbles in it. So when we vote for new candidates or we vote for really important elections, we use this box. And there is a saying, when you see someone who has been blackballed from some community, this is where it originated. This little box right here, blackballs. If you were blackballed, that means you were blackballed or cast out from a lodge. Voted out, basically. That's a bad thing, if you haven't guessed. These are the working tools of a Mason. You can see that there's a square, a plumb, a level, a ruler, a gavel. And they all represent different kinds of moral teachings. I won't go over the worshipful master's place just yet, but this is the ashlar. It is a cut stone, and this originates from Jewish tradition. And this is another form of the ashlar, which is the uncut stone, right? This is the worshipful master's hat, and I'll let you read about that. And all officers wear jewels. In this case, we're looking at the worshipful master's jewel. Secretary's desk. We also have a constitution, which comes from our Grand Lodge. It governs all the rules and regulations of our lodge. And this is the Masonic apron. All Master Masons wear an apron anytime they're in the lodge. It's part of the uniform, I guess you could say. This is the Marshal's place. You can read about the Marshal's place. Secretary and Marshal. Worshipful Master. Let's go over to the Worshipful Master and talk about that. I'll let you read about the keystone. The keystone the letter G. Okay, everybody asks about the letter G. It's on the symbol of the Masonic emblem. The square encompasses inverted. And there's a G in the center of that. Well, what is that? At the Worshipful Master station, just above the Worshipful Master station is the letter G. It stands for geometry. I'll give you one more glance at the geometry. This is the Worshipful Master station. I'll give you if you want to pause and read about that, that's good stuff. Okay, what else is there? Last but not least, the main altar. Now, if you notice, the altar is situated on a checkered pavement. That is to represent the checkered pavement of King Solomon's temple. The altar, this is where Masons take their vows or their promises, and we take them upon the Holy Bible. The Holy Bible, sacred literature, the great light in Masonry. Now, we do have Muslims, we do have Hindus, we have Buddhists who become Masons, and for those folks, they take their vows and their promises upon the holy literature of their religion. So depending upon who is taking the promises and what their religious background is, we accommodate those things, which is kind of goes to a theme of freedom of religion, which is in our Constitution. But you can't guess where that came from. Three great lights. The three great lights in Masonry are said to be the Holy Bible, square, and compasses. Holy Bible, square, and compasses. And then the three burning tapers. Now, it used to be in the 1800s that you had three burning tapers that were oil lamps or candles, and they were situated at 3 points of the lodge at the east, west, and south. At the advent of electricity, when lights became available, they decided to stop burning those lanterns and put them more situated and more consolidated in a centralized location. So now we have these electric tapers that represent the lesser lights, and you can read about those. Let me see if I can get the full shot of that. Yes, I can. And that is pretty much what a Masonic lodge looks like, the lodge room. Lodge room is synonymous with lodge. So this is interesting here. This is a little tidbit. There should be, in theory, a stairway that starts here. It's kind of a, what do you call it, a theoretical stairway consisting of 3 steps, 5 steps, and 7 steps. It's part of our degrees and what happens with them. And a worthy note here, it happens to be that the inventor of the 357 Magnum was also a Mason and was particularly infatuated with those 3 numbers, 3, 5, and 7. A very unique number for a Magnum or a size of a gun. Kind of an interesting note. This would be the earth and the universe, and then the pillars. You can read about the pillars. Those are actually kind of public knowledge. You can find out about those. And that is the tour of our lodge. And let's see. Oh, one more interesting note. Right here, just above the secretary's desk, is our charter. And if you notice, the charter makes us legal, basically. It's what makes us legal to exist under the Grand Lodge of Texas. Now, that particular charter has been draped with a black scarf. That means that we have had Master Masons who have passed within this year, and we do that as a form of mourning. That is the tour of our lodge. We can go out and see various hallways, the Worshipful Master's office, the main entrance, our dining hall and events hall with kitchen, full-size kitchen. Say hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. And that concludes our tour.